Well, and you hit on a really important point that I should have mentioned when we were talking about hip injuries, that anterior, like stable pelvis position. The pelvis is going to move through different, it's not always going to be neutral. But when goalies have that typical anterior pelvic tilt, so kind of sticking their bum out behind them and sort of increasing the arch in their lower back, just like skaters have, it's a common posture. It's not, anything crazy, but for a goalie, especially when they're moving out of the butterfly, that's a big problem because now they don't have that hip flexion. They've lost some of the hip flexion because their pelvis is tilted forward, so they run out of space sooner. So when they're recovering that skate to push from the butterfly, they're going to be running into the front of their hip joint, which again is adding wear and tear. Not to say that that's painful, but it's adding wear and tear over time. So trying to teach goalies too to have awareness of neutral pelvis. And so then they want to say, well, when they're on the ice, well, is this my pelvis neutral? And I find it impossible to tell when a goalie's wearing like goalie pants, a chest protector. And that's not where it matters. Where it matters is in your everyday life, trying to retrain your brain that this is my posture, rather than something like, oh, I'm going to be a neutral pelvis now. Well, no, just we want to correct it throughout your day and then just have it become your new normal.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point, and that playing hockey in pretty much every sport, at some point you're going to be in compromised positions that people who work in the medical professional would not say are ideal for your joint health. And a lot of the battle is just minimizing the unnecessary wear and tear away from the sport. So obviously you want to prepare the athletes to be able to get into and control some of those positions to the best of your ability. But if you think of all of the total volume of stress that we have more control of outside of the actual competition schedule, that can have a major impact on the longevity and durability. And I sometimes use the analogy of the Grand Canyon, that started as a river and then just slowly over time, obviously over the course of thousands and thousands of years, that now the erosion that has taken place from the forces of the river and then eventually the wind that's kind of going through that alley has created the Grand Canyon. And that is obviously a very grand scale example, but similar things happen with joint surfaces within the body, that when you start to create more friction in the same areas over and over and over and over, particularly where you're not giving them a reprieve, an opportunity to recover and unload, that you can start to create somewhere that, obviously the longer you can delay that, the more you're going to delay symptoms and prolong careers,